Good morning. I am Julie of Jaybird Quilts, and I'm excited to be doing this live today to go over. We're paused. Hopefully we're good. My little one is in the kitchen eating, so you may hear him. As many of you know, I have a soon-to-be 1-year-old 3 weeks away. So starting next week, we are doing the Quilts for Baby and Beyond Sew Along, and I apologize in advance if this is backwards because we're doing the front face camera on Instagram so that I can read your questions. So I'm very excited to be doing this with you. I timed this with him turning 1, as well as some of you know that my sister-in-law is due with a little baby in 3 weeks. We are very excited. She's having a girl, so I've been making lots of little girl quilts. And I am excited to go over this with you. This book is a true labor of love. I was inspired to do the quilts when pregnant with Nate, and then I made them after he was born. With the knowledge that I had as a new mom. Each quilt has a specific purpose, and then life got busy. Things kind of went on the shelf for a little while, and then I got pregnant with William, and that was kind of my real motivation to pull this all back together. So this from start to finish was like 3 years in the working, and we released the book right before William was born last year. So this is the soon-to-be 1-year anniversary of this book. It says, "Good morning, Aunt Rachel," from Nate. Good morning from Mommy, even though Mommy's already seen you. Nate is with my mom. William's in the kitchen with my husband. Takes a village. For those who wonder how I do this with 2 kids, the answer is not alone. By no means not alone. So please go ahead, ask any questions you have. Rachel is here as well. She's under the Jaybird Quilt Sew Along account, so she can answer your questions as well as I can answer them. And if we miss them and you're watching this recorded, please go ahead and ask them in the captions or in the comments, and we will answer them as we see them. So we are here to help. So for those who just came in, Julie, Jaybird Quilts, Quilts for Baby and Beyond Sew Along. So I hung up a few of the quilts that we're going to be working on. The book contains 9 quilts and 3 different pillows. And during the sew along, from those 12, we picked 6 to focus on. It doesn't mean you can't do the other 6. We picked those based off of skills so that you'll build your skills and be capable of doing all of them, as well as quilts that I wanted to either make again or make for Baby G. So Baby G is what we're calling the baby until she arrives, because her last name starts with a G. And so Baby G, my niece, is going to be here in a couple weeks, so really excited. So I'm going to go over the quilts behind me real quick, and then I'm going to show you some of the ones in front of me. And as you ask questions, I will go ahead and answer those. So this one is Color Wheel. And this specific one has been washed and loved. We use it all the time in the living room. I think Baby William was a little confused when I took it this morning to hang it up because he loves this quilt. Nate loves it too. It's really good to take to a park, to take to a picnic, to take out. It's one of the larger ones. It's kind of like a family size one, but it also works great in the house. And it's really good for teaching them colors. So when I see him looking at things, I'm like, oh, you're looking at green. Oh, you're at yellow. And now with Nate being older, I'll be like, hey, Nate, can you find me a pink triangle? Can you find me a purple diamond? And he'll, play hide and seek with me and find the different pieces that I'm asking for. So this is a big love. And these are, in the original one, all Kona colors. And in the beginning of the book, for any of the quilts that are solids, I included a little guide for you. Now I just need to find it. So I included this solid color guide that gives you a little swatch and the name of the exact color that I used. Because I know sometimes you see it and you love it that way, and you want to go ahead and make it the same. So for this Color Wheel quilt, I gave you the list in here. And then for our sew along that we're going to start, I'm going to make it again in different colors because I don't need 2 quilts in exactly the same. So I picked this assortment of Free Spirit solids. I think about half of them are Tula's colors, half of them are not. And it's less primary. My original one is much more red, orange, yellow, green, blue. This one has more of pinks and corals, and the greens are more towards the aqua side of things. The blue is actually pretty similar. We know I love my blue, Jaybird blue. And then purple And so if you are interested in knowing the exact 18 colors that I just picked out, like yesterday, the day before, let me know. Rachel and I can go ahead and post that in the Sew Along group, and we can also share that in one of the Sew Along emails if you would like to know what colors these are. So I'm excited to make it again, but in different colors. And then this is called Watch Me Grow. And this is really good for milestone photos. So if you already have the book, I talk about that. It's on the cover with Nate, with his little 6, because he was 6 months old. And then on the inside cover are a bunch of pictures of him from 3 months all the way through 30. And what's great about this quilt is you can kind of measure the height of the baby as they grow. So like in the beginning, he was like 3.5 triangles tall, and by the time he was at 30, he was like 7 and change triangles tall. So it's really cool to watch the growth on this quilt. So that's why I named it Watch Me Grow. And I've made it twice, one for Nathan and one for William, and both times I did a rainbow. Nate's is solids, and I included those colors in the book. William's is prints, but also still a rainbow. And I am going to show a shortcut hack when we get to sewing this one. I pieced these low volume because I thought it was a good opportunity to use up scraps and anything you might have laying around, and you might agree, but also takes more time to piece those, and some people are not as interested and just want to make those solid, and some people have done that on Instagram and have posted their pictures. So I'm going to show you how you can do it pieced like this, or how you can do those solid. And I'm thinking of doing this in Tula Pink's ombres from Daydreamer, and kind of doing like the red and then the orange and then the yellow across. So I'm hoping that turns out like how I have it in my head. There are a few times during the sew along when directionality is going to come to play depending on the fabric that you're using. And I will go over special information for that. So for instance, this fabric is Baby G's fabric, and I bought a bolt. For those of you who are wondering, I legit bought a bolt because I fell in love with this fabric and I knew I wanted it. After talking with her mom, clearing it with them, I knew I wanted it for like everything in her nursery. So I bought a bolt so that I would have enough to do a lot of things. And in that, I figured out the math in case you are interested and you love a fabric and you see it in the store and you want to buy a bolt. If you buy a bolt of a feature print like this, you will be able to make Cuddles, which we'll get into in a minute, the child size, which is what this one is, the adult size. You'll be able to make Rookie of the Year, which I have in front of me and I'll show you in a minute, and a crib sheet, and one of the pillows, and you'll be able to use it as the backing for everything, including the pillow, from one 15-yard bolt, which is pretty awesome. And then if you decided to back them in other things, you could make probably almost every quilt in the book from just the 15-yard bolt as the feature fabric. And it makes it really cool to have things that coordinate. So since she's almost here, I already almost finished. I guess I have to bind it. It's not technically finished. This is Cuddles. So this is one of the quilts that we'll be doing during the sew along, and you can make the child size or the adult size, or both. And it is just a different size diamond. It's the same layout. So I will show you. This is this is for Baby G's parents, because this is the adult one. This is the big Cuddles. So if you see, if I hold them against each other, you just see the diamond just gets a lot bigger in this one and instead of that one. But in this case, with the dinosaur print, I wanted to make sure the dinosaur was always correctly oriented. I didn't want a dinosaur on its side. With this print, it's tossed and they're in all different directions, so I was happy with that. But with this one, since the dinosaur was, standing, I didn't really want the dinosaur like on its side. So I will show you during the Cuddles week or whenever I have something like that, how specifically to do directional cutting, because it's a little bit different than the directions in the book, but not at all hard. And so, like I mentioned, if you get a 15-yard bolt, I use it on the back, I used it on the front. I am going to be making a baby size Cuddles. to match this for Baby G, as well as use this in a lot of different things. And I actually bought a little more than a bolt because when I first found it, the website I was on didn't have that much, and I bought like the 3 yards they had, and then I found one with a bolt, so then I bought the bolt. So I had enough to also make pillowcases. So I'm a big fan of gifting quilt in pillowcases. If you've never done that, it's just like this extra little touch, and it doesn't take that long. If you've never made a pillowcase, they're pretty easy. And I can show you how. Let me know if you want me to film a video on showing you how, or I can point you in the direction of a lot of good tutorials as well. But gifting a pillowcase, a quilt in a pillowcase is really cool because it gives them somewhere to store it when they do put it away, although you should always have your quilts out, but you know, let's be honest. It's nice because when you have the quilt on the bed, you can go ahead and put your bed pillow in this, and then everything matches. I specifically with baby quilts, I took a matching pillowcase to the hospital with Nate's quilt that matched, and so then it was, you know, cute in all the pictures, and I got to cuddle with the pillow. So I made these, and so then these were just some of the other coordinating prints from the line, but I, you know, used the dinosaur on the band of this one and on the body of this one. So pillowcases are fun. They're not a planned part of the sew along, but let me know if you want to know how to do that. I can show you how to do that. Same thing with a crib sheet. In here I link, you can't really link in a book. I give you the URL to type in for 3 of my tutorials that are on my blog that are connected to this, but didn't make sense to add and physically print in the book. One is a sensory blanket. I don't have that down here right now in my studio, but I can show you how to do that if you are interested. The other is a crib sheet. All the full directions for how to do a crib sheet are on my blog, but if you want me to film a video, let me know about that too. And then my quilt labels. I like to piece my labels into the back of my quilts, and so I gave you all my pointers on doing that. So yeah, so I don't have the crib sheet to show you because I already gave it to my sister-in-law, in case Baby G, you know, babies come when they want to come. So even though the calendar says she has 3 more weeks, who knows? So I already gave her the crib sheet, so that's already on the crib. But yeah, I wanted to go over what you could do with a 15-yard bolt and show you one of the cuddles that I've been working on. So that is the first 3 projects, not in that order, but 3 of the projects that we're going to be doing. Which is Color Wheel, Watch Me Grow, and Cuddles. So if you have any questions on those 3, let me know. I'm going to take a quick sip of water while you think about it. Okay. How to cut directional, yes. Okay, I can go over the ombres as well for someone who wanted to know about cutting that. Because the way they are on the bolt, if you cut, let me grab a bolt so I can show you. If you cut with a fabric on the bolt, you're going to get a variety of colors. So if you want all of one color, you want to cut it differently. So yes, I also bought bolts of the ombres because, oh my God, these things are just so pretty. It's very common knowledge that I am a total pink fabric hoarder. And sometimes collections come out and I can see myself using that long into the future in many projects. And so I want a lot of it. So I may or may not have bought a bolt of each of the ombres. I did. The other 2 are right there. So if you cut this the way that most patterns are written and you cut this way, then subcut it. Some of your triangles and diamonds are going to be dark purple. Some are going to be middle. Some be like, and that might be what you want depending on what you're working on. But say you want to use it for this. What you're going to want to do is figure out how much you need, which I'll help you do. And then you want to cut your strips across length of fabric instead of width of fabric. So then when you subcut all of the triangles in this row, we're going to be the light pink. All the triangles at the bottom, you have the dark purple, so forth and so on. So I can show you that as well and help you make sure that you get the pieces in the right colors that you want. If you have a directional fabric that you're working with and you're wondering how best to cut it, the Facebook group, the Jaybird Quilt Sew Along Facebook group is a great place to post a picture of it, and I will be able to help guide you as well as other people in there. We have a few thousand people in there who are awesome and very supportive. We are running at the same time this sew along as well as the year-long Toes in the Sand block of the month. where everybody's making 2 blocks a month. So, and people are still working on Night Sky, which is the sew along that we just wrapped up. We are, someone asked what the rules were. Very few rules. Be nice, be kind, don't photocopy patterns, don't steal patterns, don't buy counterfeit rulers, which had a post about that. Be a good person. Those are the rules. Be a good person. There are no, like, you must get this done by this date or you will be kicked out. No, we don't have any of those. We do have some giveaways, and sometimes there's requirements for those of post a picture or post this. But we are not in the business of being quilt police or having strict rules. If you have a question on something from a sew along last year, ask it. If you have a question on something that we're not even working on, ask it. I am here to help. I love teaching and guiding and helping and being your cheerleader. That is what brings me joy. So we are not a place of like hard, strict rules. If you want to sign up for this and buy the book and follow along, do nothing, great. If you want to sew 1 quilt over the course of the 6 weeks, great. If you want to make all 12, also great. Whatever you want to do, you are welcome here. We are happy to have you and help you and guide you, as long as you're nice and kind and you don't steal. Don't steal patterns, don't photocopy patterns, don't buy counterfeit rulers. I mean, I wish I didn't even have to say that, but unfortunately I do, because there are still people who do things like that. Anyway, back to the fun stuff. Still trying to find time to start Nebula. See? Totally fine, Sandra. Like, we're here. Whenever you're ready to start Nebula, we are here. We are here to cheer you on, and help you and answer your questions. So other things that we are going to make during the sew along is one of my favorites. So this is called Rookie of the Year, and this is round and very loved and used. I took this one out of the stroller, took the other one out of the car. So this was designed to be a stroller quilt. So on the cover of the book, I have a picture of Nate within the stroller. And the idea is, if you've ever pushed a kid around a stroller and you think of a normal quilt or blanket, it has corners and they always get like stuck under the wheels. They start dragging on the ground. They get dirty. When it's round, less corners, no guarantee that it won't drag. Kids are kids. They drop things fall. So I often suggest making the outside fabric on the darker side and binding it on the darker side. I don't think I've ever made it with like white out here. So if I have like a light color, I put that in the center. But this is just fun, and it's a really good small size. We found it works well in the car to like tuck in William in his car seat if we're like have to run somewhere and he's still in his PJs and he's not like fully dressed. Or it's good in the stroller. It's also just a good one. It folds up really small, and it can go in a diaper bag. So if you're going somewhere and you like might need to put it down on the ground to put a baby down and like not, have them just laying on the grass or laying on the floor somewhere, it folds up really small. Even smaller when you don't use Minky. I backed this one in Minky. This one I did in flannel. I've done it in cotton. So lots of fun possibilities with this one. It pieces as a hexagon, and then I give you directions on how to cut it as a circle. So I will go over that in the video for that week. That being said, you can finish it as a hexagon. There are no rules here. If you want to keep it as a hexagon, go ahead as a hexagon. Paula just said wheelchair ready. Also, yep, wheelchair ready. Just like it won't get caught in the wheels of a stroller, shouldn't get caught in the wheels of a wheelchair. So it is a great small little size, and it also pieces really fast because these are very large diamonds in the middle. And 6 of them are a good place to feature, like this is a larger Tula Pink print from Neptune that has these big shells, or in this case, this one was Nate's. Actually, well, is Nate's. Thanks for letting me borrow it, honey, if you're still watching. And so this one has like giraffes and cats and lions and little animals. Is there batting with Cuddle? I did put batting. I like batting in quilts with Cuddle. Not everybody does. Personal preference, I think you can go either way. I think it feels more like a blanket when you don't put batting, which is okay. I like it feel more like a quilt. When I back in flannel, do I still pre-wash the flannel? I did not pre-wash the flannel, did not pre-wash the cottons, and I have washed this quilt many times, and it has turned out beautifully. So, if your fabric says to pre-wash, if you're used to pre-washing, you can go ahead and do that. I'm not a pre-washer unless I think it's really something like a hand dye that's going to bleed or something. I am not a pre-washer. I subscribe to the school of it's easier to piece and takes less time if you don't pre-wash. And then I wash everything with Shout color catchers, which can absorb any of the extra dye if there happens to be any. Those things are magical. I accidentally washed a quilt once without them, 2 quilts, and then one had a navy backing and got dye on the other quilt. And then I put that quilt in the dryer without thinking. And a year later, someone posted that you can save a quilt that's been, and I was like, what? And I put that one back in the washer with the color catchers, and it pulled out the dye from the other one that was a year old and had been dried there. So those things, magical. So Rookie of the Year, we're going to do, and I have a fun one planned for Baby G that I'm excited to show all of you. And the first project that we're going to start with is the triangles pillow. So there's 2 options. There is the big triangles and the small triangles, aptly named because these are bigger, these are smaller. My creativity is just boundless sometimes. And we're going to start here because triangles are really the foundation of this book and a lot of things that I do. If you can piece triangles, you can move on to the next thing and to the next thing and build your skill set and be able to tackle anything. If you have never done one of my patterns before and you are totally new to this, ask anybody who did Nebula and the Sew Along. Ask questions in the group. It looks intimidating and hard, and it's the kind of thing you just build your skills one after another, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I made this amazing block and I'm pretty awesome. I'm all for being your own best cheerleader as well. So the triangles pillow, these 2 happen to be in black and white. And then I had like fun backings on them, which are like the splatter prints. I did these in black and white because that is the first thing that babies see. Before they see color, they see contrast. So I think these are really cool to have around when you have a brand new, freshie as they call it, baby, because they that are interesting to the baby because they can see them. I know not everyone is going to want white in and around babies. Babies are messy. I get that. So you could do these in anything. And these are also fun to circle back to after you've made some of the quilts. These are great scrap projects. So I have a couple that I'm making for Baby G, including one that is using up leftover scraps from some of the quilts so that I have all different scrappy triangles. It's a really good way to match things to your quilts and your projects and use things up. So we have the big triangles and the little triangles, and we're going to make those. That's going to be our first project. And then the last one that I haven't shown you yet is Tummy Time All-Star. And Tummy Time All-Star, I'm going to have to block my face to kind of hold it up higher for you guys to see it, is this big, giant, hollow star. It has different colors, but a similar feel to the Color Wheel quilt. I've done it like this with a rainbow, and then I'm going to show you with Baby G's. I'm actually going to do all of these in the same fabric and give it a totally different feel. This one is great for aptly what it's named, which is tummy time. So if you have been around any babies, the big thing is you have to do tummy time with them, which is force them to be on their bellies. Some kids love this, most don't. So giving them something fun to look at and interesting makes the whole thing a little bit better. So I liked this one because, again, colors, point out different colors. And then I put a fun background or backing here, which you see is this Robert Kaufman's Science Fair print that has like little formulas and stuff. So it gives them something fun to look at. And then this one, which is Williams. I don't know if you can hear him. He's getting quite loud in the kitchen. He must be enjoying his breakfast. This one is a rainbow of vintage Tula Pink fabrics. So it's got, flowers to look at and animals. And then it's got this, like the cream with the neon-y pink little fishy stuff in the background, which is fun. So I like to give them something fun to look at. So as I mentioned, all of the quilts in the book and the pillows have been designed with a purpose. The other reason for the pillows, besides the contrast, is you just need pillows after you have a baby. Like, I just feel like I had them under every arm when I was like holding the baby and trying to nurse and prop me up and put them on all different sides. So super, super helpful to have a lot of pillows around. So ask any more questions that you may have. And then Rachel, if you want to click to join in, I don't know if you already did. Let's see. Rachel's going to join us. And we're going to answer any other questions you have. And I just got a bunch of the fabrics that I ordered for the sew along. I'm really excited. I am doing a bunch in Tulip Pink Daydreamer. So I got the McCall, I think it's called McCallulator. Get it? And this pink with the rainbows, and I'm gonna cut this one, I think, directionally. So I will go over that for, I think I'm gonna use this as my background and border for Rookie of the Year. And so I think I'm gonna cut this directionally because I want the rainbows to be in a certain way. So I'm going to show you how I plan. And then I have some of these other fun ones. And I think I'm going to use this as a background for Tummy Time All-Star and offset this really dark purplish blue solid with some fun prints. So, hey, Rachel. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning.
Well, I guess good afternoon to you. So for those who don't know, Rachel is in Philadelphia. So it is 12:30 her time. I'm in California, so it's 9:30 my time. But I often probably think it's the wrong time and say things like good morning. So
That's fine. I mean, I'm just like in the live. I don't have concept of time. Doesn't matter what time of day it is.
Are you in a snow squall? Are you safe? Are you okay?
Oh, it's 60 degrees today. We're going to have thunderstorms. We had snow squalls on Monday. We're having thunderstorms on Thursday. Happy March. Someone asked
It's 56
if we could
here.
post. We have the same weather. Someone asked if we could post the link to buy the book. Sign up for the emails. Sign up for the sew along emails. The link's in the bio for either account, and you'll get the link to where you can buy the books. So
Yes.
To the shops that have the books available.
Yes. And then I see Aunt Vaughn just asked, do we have kits? Picking colors can be daunting. So yes, we on my blog, if you just go right now to jaybirdquilts.com, the most recent blog post is about the sew along. And I think I have a few more to add because more shops are hopping on board, which is awesome. But there's 20 plus kits. Some shops have kitted them exactly like the book. Some have made their own custom kits in all different colors. So yeah, there are shops domestically here in the United States, as well as some international ones who have made kits. Because yes, I know picking colors can be daunting. That's also why I did include in the beginning of the book, this color chart of what I picked. And, even if you use part of it and not all of it, this gives you, where I started so that you can have, a base of knowing kind of what is a good place to start. But really, these things look good in so many colors and so many possibilities. So what other questions? Do we have any other questions that I didn't cover yet?
Okay, some questions that we've had across our social media channels the last couple days. So one question is a technical, how to get my points. So she's having trouble with the hang pin, and so I make sure I go through the seam and I eyeball the scant 1/4 inch. I've drawn a 1/4 inch line on both sides of the fabric to help, but yet I struggle to get those seams to line up. Anything you can suggest to help me with? She's trying to get her points to match.
Okay, so ignore the drawing the 1/4 inch line, because that is only going to help if your points were perfect in the first place, which rarely are mine even perfect. I go over hang pin in a lot of videos, and if you have the Quilts for Baby and Beyond book, I also go over it on page 10 and 11 in detail in photos. So if you've been struggling, my videos are a little too fast, and you've been finding yourself pausing a lot in the videos, go ahead and open your books to pages 10 and 11. I give you 6 step-by-step photos of how to do hang pin. So for those who don't know, hang pin is the way that I get my points to perfectly match up from this one piece to the next piece. If you have questions, whoever that is, after reviewing this, please go ahead and email us or ask in the Facebook group, and I'm here to help you.
And as a fellow beginner advanced beginner with a hang pen and getting points to match. Like it really does just come down to practice.
Yes.
I'm pretty forgiving with like not demanding perfect points of myself. So I just keep making the triangle pillow or like making different projects with different points and just keep practicing. It's here or there. Like honestly, like no one other than us notices if a point does, and like they don't even know that that's even a thing. Like the non-quilter eye, like
Well,
they
and I
don't
just
know.
realized I never actually showed the ruler. So for anybody who didn't know, this ruler, the Super Sidekick ruler, I'm holding fabric on it so you can see it, is the one ruler you need for the book. So I have invented 4 rulers, but specifically for this book, I made it all with one ruler. And so this, if you've never done a Jaybird Quilts project before, this is the time to hop on board. We have designed this sew along for the beginner. For the, I have never done any of this. I've never done a triangle. How do I do this? This is where to start. There is templates in the book. If you're not ready to buy the ruler, if you're international and you're having trouble finding it, but the ruler makes life a lot easier. So someone said, should we have all 3 rulers? No. You do not need all 3 rulers for this sew along. You need the Super Sidekick ruler. There you go. All right, what else we got?
Would love to see the last quilt for colors when you get a chance. Tummy time?
Tummy time one? This one? Maybe? I don't know if
I
I can
think
hold it
so.
up. Now that we're both on, I don't know that I can hold it up high enough to like show all of it at once. So I can like spin it around.
Piper Judith asked the question. The colors are listed in the book,
Yes.
so you can capture all those color names right inside the book, page 7.
Yes, and the quilt is also in the cover. I made this in white and in black background to show off the differences. So this white one is actually not photographed in the book, so I apologize if that confuses people. The black one is out on a trunk show. This is the same colors you're looking at when I hold up the white one, just black background on my adorable little tiny navy there. Oh my goodness. Did you see, by the way,
we got it right.
He wrote a comment that he was very excited to see when you popped up on the video, like, Mom, I see you every day, but like, oh, Ariel's here.
Yeah. No, I'm very exciting. Like, how could you not be excited? I'm awesome. Like, of course.
Nady loves it, Rachel. Nady loves it.
I love Nady. I love you, Nady.
You're like, I thought we were here talking about quilts. Why are we talking about Nate? Because he's the best.
It's a family affair. We're all here for this. I mean, if we didn't have Nate, we wouldn't have the book. It's that simple.
And pretty soon we might have William, because I totally thought we'd be done by now, but we're not. And Dad needs to leave in about 4 minutes for a dentist appointment. And if we're not done, baby William's just joining in on the live. That's what's happening.
It'll be great. It's a family affair.
You all get to see a baby on a baby live.
One more quick question we can sneak in before William joins us. When you're pressing seams open on your quilt tops,
yes,
do you stitch in the ditch when you're quilting?
So I rarely do my own quilting. I generally send it off to Angela or Teresa. Teresa did everything in the book, some custom, some edge to edge. She still does what I would consider stitch in the ditch, but it's not like in the ditch. It's like a hair over, which technically, even if you're pressing to the side and you're stitching in the ditch, you're never actually stitching on the rarely, because you'd have to be like perfect. Are you stitching exactly like on the line? So like I can show you, for instance, let's see, tell me if this is like in focus. Like this is 1/4 of an inch away, this one here, but like there is a stitching line right here, like a thread away, that is above the green line. Like I don't know if you can see it, but it's there. So I mean, if you're a fan of stitch in the ditch, like echoing obviously is an option as well, but like Teresa doesn't shy away from getting super close to my seams, even though they're pressed open. And I know some people are afraid of bearding, which is the batting coming through. And that makes sense for 10, 20 years ago. Batting quality was lower, thread quality was lower. And if your stitch length wasn't short enough, the batting would start to come through. That's what bearding is when you would have like little puffs of batting come through. I have been pressing my seams open exclusively for over 10 years now, and I've never had an issue with bearding. So I know that's a big fear of people's. I just find things lay flatter, and specifically when we're dealing with intersections where we're going to have 6 points or sometimes more come together, things are just going, you're gonna have a better chance of matching your points and whatnot when things are flat. It's just a lot easier than if you're pressing to the side. And there's very few places, some, I'm not gonna say none, very few places where you can nest seams when you're working with 60-degree angles. So, you know, everyone's like, but I love nesting. Great if you're nesting on a 9 patch, go for it. It's really not something you do much here.
There's a question about ombre, for using ombre for twice the fun. Did we post directions on how to do that anywhere?
Don't think that we did.
I don't think we did. I think we just suggested it and like showed your ombre daydreamer quilts, but I don't think we gave any direction on it yet.
No, so Twice the Fun is not one that we're going to be doing in the sew along, but is one of the ones in the book. And like I said, after we do this, you'll have the skills to do everything. So it's called Twice the Fun because the way you cut the fabrics, you get quilt A and quilt B, so you get 2 quilts at once. And so I did do this out of Tula Ombre, and this quilt is 36 by 42. And so if your fabric is 42 or more inches on the bolt, which sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, you can get the full ombre here, which is what I was able to do. I have found that this is at least 42 inches. So my sashing strips are cut from this, and that way you have like the full ombre. And then in the 2, I can show pictures because I don't have them here. They're out on the trunk show. In the 2 of them, one of them I was scrappy in my placement of the ombre pieces, and the other one I placed them in order to create the ombre with the other one. So there is no cutting differences with the Tula Pink ombre. If you are wanting to make the Twice the Fun in the ombre the way I did it, it's all about fabric placement. So no cutting differences. I hear my little squealer. Just fabric placement. Thanks for showing all the pattern fabric. I'm trying to use it in my stash. Any suggestions? I don't know your stash. There's so many possibilities. One thing you will notice is very few of these things have I picked baby fabric. So that is something that I often tell people to lean away from. Some of Nate's are what I would consider baby fabric, you know, tiny little novelty animals in pastel prints. But I like to generally do things that I think are more fun and young so that they can grow with them. You know, a kid might not want this as soon as they're like 4 or 5. They might be like, Mom, that's super lame. Like, I'm not a baby, you know, where like this is just a bunch of primary colors and some like sciencey stuff. And then I used a Carolyn Freelander print with text on the back, wide back. Like, I didn't go baby. So whoever it was that asked that, depending on what your stash is, I would suggest leaning into fun and young, and think about who your intended recipient may be. Or if you are like many of us and you're making them ahead of time so that you have like a stash of baby quilts for when your friend calls you and is like, hey, so-and-so's due next week, got a baby quilt? Because people think we can whip these things up in a day, which some of these, granted, you can. But people don't take into account buying the fabric, piecing the quilt, quilting it, binding it, and a lot of us have kids or grandkids or lives or jobs. So while yes, I am capable, start to finish, making a quilt in a day, someone's going to need to cook me food, take care of my children, clean my house, do my laundry. And I don't know about you guys. I don't have somebody, well, I got my husband. I don't have somebody to do that full time, all the time, in all those things. I do have an amazing, incredible, supportive husband who's going to bring me a baby any moment. But yeah, so I would suggest just going for something fun. I definitely leaned into the rainbow in a lot of these quilts because I think that's fun for kids. Kids like rainbows. Nate loves rainbows. And they love primary colors. They love crayon boxes. You know, like I look at this print, which I used in a lot of the original quilts. It's called Paint Splatter. And it just makes me think of kids because they make messes. They do splatter paint. And this looks like a crayon box to me, you know? So I just
and it hides stains really well.
Yes, that is true as well. It does hide stains. With the exception of the black and white pillows, most things I went more for things. If you anyone has noticed, this one's actually not quilted. So this is the sample that I made that I never actually got around to quilting yet. I decided it looked too much like the pillows, so I ended up making a paint splatter version for the book. This would definitely not hide stains as well. But even this, which is just solids, really hides stains well. So I have a baby who likes to spit up a lot, and it does hide stains well. That's also the fun of the piece background here, kind of hides stains. Are you coming to join us? Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Oh, that's what you want, my water bottle? Yeah. Say hi to Rachel.
Hi, buddy.
Rachel. Can you say hi, dear Rachel?
Hi. Hi.
Yeah. He doesn't come in my office very often, and when he does, I will post pic. There are just quilts hung up on the walls everywhere. There's color everywhere, so he's just like, what? There's a lot to look at in here, especially like right behind the camera. There's just a wall of storage of in-progress quilts and quilts on the wall. So, yeah, there's lots to look at, isn't there? Hi, sweet boy. All right, so what other questions do we got?
How much time a day should I budget for following along with the sew along?
This goes back to the no rules. All depends on who you are, how much time you have, what you want to do. You don't have to dedicate any time every day. You could dedicate an hour a week. You could do 10 hours a week. It all depends on what you want to accomplish, how busy your life is. Do you have a tiny little nugget you got to take care of all the time? Don't be stressing that you got to allocate so much time a day. Oh, no, I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do that. You're obsessed with glasses, little boy. Mommy needs to see the screen. So, you know, if you want to set aside an hour a day, if you have an hour a day, that'd be great. If you work during the week and you're going to do 4 hours every Saturday, the videos are going to come out on Thursdays. You can watch them at any time.
And the videos will stay available too. So you don't have to be directly like live with us week to week. You can really kind of like take your time and work at your own pace.
Yes, the videos will, here, you can play with one of Aunt Joni's zipper things. The videos will always be available. Oh, you're going to eat that? Is that tasty? The videos will always be available. And like I said, there are people who are still finishing up Night Sky. There are people who are working on Nebula. Yeah, that's your quilt. We are here. You can work at any pace. Post your pictures in the group at any pace. You can go ahead and post pictures on Instagram. We love seeing on the Instagram as well. But I will say the Facebook group, I'm not a big Facebook person for like general things, but the Facebook sew along group has become really like my favorite thing. I love seeing every version of the different quilts that people are making and posting, and the support that people are providing each other, and the stories that people are sharing of what they've gone through and how the sew along has helped them or what they've learned. It's really like the best virtual class ever. So yeah, I highly encourage you, if you have not yet joined the Facebook sew along group, the link is in my profile here on Instagram, as well as it's in the email when you sign up for the sew along. Signing up for the emails, if you haven't done that, is also the best way to get information, because at any time, you know, social media sites do go down, and the emails are where it's at, and you can always go back and reference those to click on the links to see other videos.
You can find the links to sign up in the profiles for these Instagram accounts. They're also available at jaybirdquilts.com on the blog. You can find the link to sign up for the sew along on the blog as well. So we try to make it accessible and try to meet you where you're at on the internet so you can find it. There was a good, where will the videos on past projects, where will they be housed? We've been keeping all of our tutorial videos on YouTube, except for ones that stay on the Facebook group that are closed just for our Facebook audience. Like the toes in the sand tutorials, they live there. But for the most part, if we're doing a sew along that you're signing up for via email, those tutorials are going to live on YouTube.
Yes, sorry, I'm busy eating a baby. Yeah, so Rachel does all the logistics for those who don't know. So she is always great at answering all of those questions, because she is the behind the scenes that keeps the wheels of this bus moving along and does all that fun stuff so that I have time to play with this guy and get inspired and sew quilts and design things and do this side of things with you. Do I have to sign up? No, you don't have to sign up, but by not signing up, you're not getting the emails. And there are times we include discount codes from shops that are exclusive to that sew along. Those are only in the email. Sometimes there's bonus patterns. Sometimes those are in the email. Sometimes they're in the Facebook group. It is free to sign up for the sew along. You literally have to just click a link, put in your name and your email address. So there's really no reason not to sign up. You could sign up and never email from me.
Yeah, we often have bonus content that's available. Like if somebody puts in a request for like how to do something, how to like finish rock candy differently from a hexagon, how to finish it squared off, how to finish the night sky quilt squared off. When we get requests like that, like those bonus materials, they're accessible primarily via email. Like that's the bonus in signing up for the email, is if like somebody puts in a request that's exclusive to the sew along, that's where you're going to get it. You're going to get that content in the emails. Yeah, it's in the email. Yeah.
Yeah. So the emails are where it's at. It's just a good place to stay in the loop. And they're free. You know, that I know not all sew alongs are free, whether you're at a quilt shop or online or something. This is all free. The only cost here is buying the pattern, which technically you could sign up for the sew along, not buy the pattern, and just watch along and not make anything. You won't have, the measurements and whatnot. But that's where you get all the good information. Yes, sweet baby sounds all day long. Sweet baby sounds.
Mom Ryther asked, the baby quilt in Tula's black and whites, is the pattern available by itself or only in the book? Mom Ryther, there's actually a couple Tula Pink line work baby quilts that are out there. The Twice the Fun set, that pattern is only available in the Quilts for Baby and Beyond book, but there's also a Tiny Dancer baby quilt that's out there. That's a standalone pattern. And then there's a Science Fair quilt that's out there, and that's a standalone pattern.
Correct. Oh, you nuzzling me. Yeah. There, like I said, there's 12 projects in the book, 3 pillows, 9 quilts. Those 9 quilts are only available in the book. There's no other way to get those. But the cost of the book is like the cost of 2.5 patterns, and for that price, you're getting 12 projects. So there's a lot of value in there. And next week I'm going to go over an overview of the book. Like I said, this book is a labor of love. There is a lot of guts in the beginning where I go over everything in my head, what I think about binding, how I think about fabric. I go over all the basics of things. It's a lot of good information that I put there in the beginning of the book, how I pick fabric, and how I think about things. And so, there's a lot of value in this book. Do I have any more books coming? I hope, Jesse. This guy has been quite a little time monopoly, so I don't actually have anything specific in the pipeline right now. We do something else. I'm not going to talk about it yet because we're not far enough along in the planning process. But it's not a book. It's a thing.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
If you have signed up for previous sew-alongs of ours, yes, you do have to opt in to each sew-along. We don't spam people with sew-along emails, so you have to opt in for each new sew-along that we do to get those sew-along emails. Yeah, great question. Thank you, Kristen.
Someone just said, what's the title of the book? Quilts for Baby and Beyond. And like I mentioned, I know that's your brother. That's not you. These are not just baby quilts. That's why I named it Baby and Beyond. They range in size. There's an adult one in here. There's family ones. Because your babies, while amazing and cute and adorable, are only this tiny for so long. So I wanted these quilts to have longevity. And so Quilts for Baby and Beyond. Oh, you are getting so big. All right, anything else?
That's everything I caught.
Ugh.
If we missed your question, I'm so sorry, but please do ask it in the comments when we post this video, and we'll be sure to follow up with you.
Yes, absolutely. I think I said that at the very beginning. If we missed it, please. And we will be posting this video here on Instagram, maybe on YouTube as well.
Yeah, if we can work out the download.
Yeah. And so, and you always can reach out to us via email, via Facebook. We are here to help. We're excited. I'm super excited. Baby G is going to be here in 3 weeks, give or take. She'll be here within 8 weeks, and that's how long sew along is. So we're gonna have a new baby. Sorry, we love you, but we're gonna have a new baby to take pictures of on the quilts. Your baby little cousin's gonna be here, and so we're gonna celebrate this guy's first birthday, and I'm very excited to be sewing with you while we celebrate these fun milestones as well.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It was great to see you guys today.
Yes, thank you so much, and have an awesome Thursday, and we will see you next week.